Foreword by Robert Kiyosaki, read by Stratton. I love my credit cards. In the late 1980s, I went to a seminar on financial success. The instructor, a young charismatic speaker, went on and on about the perils of debt, saying repeatedly, "Debt is bad. Debt is your enemy. Get out of debt as soon as you can." Looking around the room at approximately 50 attendees, I could see most heads were nodding in agreement. Just before the break, the young speaker asked, "Okay, are you ready to cut your ties with the bondage of debt?" Most attendees nodded. "If you're ready to break the bonds, then stand, get out your credit cards, and hold them up high so everyone in the room can see them." Most of the class stood immediately, while there were several people, like me, who were looking around waiting to see if we should follow or not. Slowly, everyone stood, myself included. I figured that since I had paid money and invested this much time, I might as well go along with the process to see what I could learn. As I held my gold credit card in front of me, a smiling assistant handed me a pair of scissors. As I grasped the scissors, I knew what was to happen next. "Okay, class, cut your credit cards in half," said the instructor. As I heard the sounds of scissors cutting through plastic, there were actually several cries of shock, some groans, and even a few people crying. After cutting my card in half, I just stood in silence, mostly numb, waiting for some form of educated enlightenment to sweep over me. Nothing happened. I just felt numb. Although I had been in credit card trouble in the late 1970s, when my nylon and Velcro wallet business was caving in on me, I did eventually clean up my debt and had gone on to use my credit cards more responsibly. Hence, I did not have the same cathartic reaction some people in the class seemed to have when they cut their cards in half. In less than a week, my replacement card had arrived in the mail, and I was happily on my way, using my gold card again. Although I did not have a blinding cognition after cutting my credit card, the process did make me more aware of how much a problem credit, primarily its use and abuse, can be in a person's life. Today, I watch many so-called financial experts saying the same thing that young instructor was saying years ago. Such things as, get out of debt, cut up your credit cards, put your credit cards in the freezer. The problem I have with much of their advice is that they tend to blame the credit card as the problem, rather than the lack of financial control and financial education of the card user. Blaming one's credit card for their financial woes is much the same as me blaming my putter for my high golf score. Credit and debt are very important subjects in anyone's life. Today, young people, while still in school, are actively solicited by credit card companies, which have often caused me to ask, why don't we teach young people about money in school? Why do we have to wait till young people are deeply in credit card debt and in debt due to school loans before we realize there's a problem? If you ask most young people what is the difference between credit and debt, I doubt many could tell you the difference, and yet we let financial profiteers educate our youth. Consumer debt has exploded in the United States and in countries around the world. In 1990, the U.S. consumer was $200 billion deep in credit card debt. In 2008, it rose to over $957 billion and is now adjusted downward to over $800 billion. A huge number, nevertheless. That does not include the national debt. The U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the world, nor the debt many financial institutions have exposure to worldwide. As we have learned, you can't extend easy credit forever. When the world calls its loans, when people and organizations are not able to pay their bills, and credit becomes tight, huge financial problems surface, which ultimately affect our individual credit card balances. So, are debt and credit bad, as so many financial experts say? Absolutely not. Debt and credit are powerful financial tools that have allowed many in the world to enjoy the highest standard of living in history. Without debt and credit, we would not have such things as great cities, massive industries, airlines flying us to all parts of the world, resorts to relax in, excellent food at exciting restaurants, new cars to drive, comfortable homes to live in, and so many choices of entertainment. So if debt and credit are not bad, then what is? In my opinion, lack of financial education and fiscal responsibility are bad. I think it tragic that